All right, everyone. Well, we're going to break down the trades from this morning. Here we are. It's Tuesday, back in the saddle. I am feeling quite a bit better. Not 100%, but I'd say 85%, which is good. So, and today, we didn't have a whole lot to trade, which is kind of nice in a way because I wasn't really required to bring my absolute best to the market today, which even if I wanted to, I don't know if I'd been able to. So the last couple of days have been kind of slower days where we've seen some volatility, we've seen some momentum, but nothing crazy. Traded in both the big account, my regular retirement account, and also in my thinkorswim account for the small account challenge today. Green on both sides, which is great. So today is day 4 of the thinkorswim small account challenge. I'll do a video on that later on. But for right now, we'll do a recap on my main account. So if we take a step back and we look at where I sit right now, I'm up $2,087.25. I don't have a lot to show for today. Definitely a slower day. However, you know what's really interesting? Think back yesterday. What was my biggest winner? My biggest winner yesterday, NCNA. What was the biggest percentage gainer yesterday? NCNA. What is the stock I'm up the most on today? GLMD. What's the biggest percentage gainer today? GLMD. Okay, so now as an aspiring trader, what you guys have to do is you have to figure out how to know which stock is going to be the leading percentage gainer before it is the leading percentage gainer. So you can be jumping in on that momentum, number one, if possible. And then number two, if you sit down and you just see, oh, GLMD is the leading gapper, you need to know where to get in something that's already fairly extended. Now, I know a lot of beginner traders struggle with this, but this is really, of course, what I've been doing for pretty much my entire career. Well, from the point that I turned the corner and became successful, I've been focusing on stocks that are up quite a bit and looking to ride that momentum higher. Now, for those of you guys, and some of you may have missed this, so I'm going to grab a video here. So for those of you guys who missed perhaps one of my recent uploads, I have been working on this small account challenge here, which you can see right here with thinkorswim. So this is my thinkorswim small account challenge. So yesterday I uploaded an episode breaking down how to read candlestick charts the right way, because I had some questions that made me think some people were a little confused on that. But that was day 3. Day 2 here is the only setup I'm trading for big winners. And day 1 is a summary of the strategy that I'm trading during this challenge. But really, it's no different from what I'm doing every single day, with the exception that I can only take one trade a day. So because I'm restricted in a cash account to only taking one trade a day, I'm focusing on essentially the highest quality setup that I see each day. Now, as it turns out, I think I maybe wasted my one trade today on the thinkorswim account, small account challenge on ALR, which was nice, but it could have been a little bit better. Anyways, I'll go over that in the episode later on. So if we back this up here, right. So let's start with my first trade of the day. All right. So first trade of the day, I actually sat down here at 7 a.m., but the problem at 7 a.m. was there was nothing that looked great. And GLMD is such a funny chart because this was our leading percentage gainer this morning. You can see that big gap, but by the time I was sitting down here at 7 a.m., it was already stair-stepping down, right? It was moving in the wrong direction. Now I took my first trade on it right down here. I drew this blue line and I sort of thought it looks like it's holding support here. And so I actually bought that dip at about 580, looking for the break of 6. And this actually popped up to VWAP up to 615. And on that first trade, I made about $900. That was on trade number 1. Then I added back on it and I gave back about 600. So I'm up only 300. And then I got one more trade and added back about 150. So let's get out our whiteboard here. I'm just going to move this stuff out of the way. We've got a bunch of junk here. All right, so that's fine. All right, so let's see. So now we're going to start doing losers and winners. All right, so first trade of the day is a winner. And I'm like, all right, sweet, $900. Second trade is a loser. Gosh darn it. Third trade is a winner. So as we're watching, my sort of P&L this morning, I start, of course, each day at 0. I go up about 900, and then I'm up only 300, and then I'm up about 150. So I'm like, all right, I'm green. Well, I guess I was green about 500 here, but nothing too impressive. I haven't broken $1,000 yet. Haven't really gotten my cushion. I'm just kind of barely keeping my head above water at that point. So those are my first 3 trades on GLMD, 2 winners and 1 loser. Following those trades, my next trade was on VVPR. VVPR, you could see I'm red $590 on. So I jumped into this one. You know what? This one annoys me a little bit, because when VVPR first hit the scanner, I was like, I don't like VVPR. I never trade this stock well. It's an annoying stock. Don't like it. Next thing you know, this was when it was at like 220. It goes to 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 283 dollars. I was like, gosh darn it. So it pulls back right here, and I was like, you know what? All right, I'll take that. I'll take that setup. And of course, it jackknives, and I lose $600 on it. So it was like I knew it, but I traded it anyways. So now, all right, on the whiteboard, we've got a second loser. And because it was a $600 loss, I actually came at that point down to just about break even. I was right around 0 on the day. So now I'm like, all right, I've got nothing to show for the day so far, but I have been churning some fees and commissions. So I'm actually slightly red on the day. Next trade is SNOA. I'm down $353 on it. Now, SNOA, this one annoyed me as well, because they've got news of an FDA clearance here that came out at 8:30. It pops up, and I'm like, all right, we've got some news on this thing. It's FDA clearance. Okay, good. That's fine. And it pops up here to a high of 470. It dips down, and I said, I'm going to buy this dip here at 440, and I'm looking for that curl back up. Boom, it drops. Instant drop, down $350. Thank goodness I broke the ice on that with small size. But nonetheless, it's another loss. So now I'm like, golly, this is a problem. And at this point, I went to red, minus 350. So I had peaked at about 950 green, and now I'm minus 350. Now, this right here perfectly exemplifies why it's important to trade with small size until you first built a cushion. None of this price action that got me up and down here was worth trading with 15, or 20,000 shares and doing something stupid. In fact, if I had, it's funny, because you might think, well, if you trade with 15, 20,000 shares, your profit, well, let's just say my average share size today was 5,000 shares. So average share size, 5,000 shares, I'm up $2,000. So Ross, you should trade with 15,000 shares, because then you'd be up $6,000, 3 times whatever you're up. That is that can be a little deceiving, because that's not always how it works. And the reason it doesn't always work that way is because on a day when the market is colder, liquidity is not as good, which means you're going to get more slippage on your entries and exits. So the bigger the size, in a way, the diminishing the returns because of that slippage factor. So as a result, I actually don't think if I had traded with 15 or 20,000 shares that I would have made more money. I actually think I probably would have been red, most likely. So the good news is I trade with small size on these first few trades. So I kept it very conservative, didn't go aggressive. And then things started to turn around from being down 350. I turned around on WHLR. So WHLR was the next one I traded. And I had a couple stocks that were kind of on sort of my maybe list. WHLR was one of them. I was looking at it and I was thinking, this could work. I just sort of thought to myself, it needs to ultimately break above VWAP. And it did for a second, but it wasn't super easy. So if we zoom this in here, I took my first trade on it. I was watching it down in this area here, over 9, and I kind of saw it was sort of coming back up, but it was a risky trade because we were below VWAP. So I was like, I don't know if that's going to work. So I didn't take a trade on it. And then it breaks to 920, and I was like, okay, I'll jump in. So I jumped in there at about 918. It goes up to 940, which was good. Pulls back, comes up, pulls back, comes up, and then it goes to 960, 970, up to 980, just about, which wasn't too bad. So about 60 cents a share right there. So on that little move, I made about $1,000. And I couldn't trade it with big size because, again, the liquidity was sort of poor on it, but I was able to get in and out with smaller size and make $1,000. So with that, I went from down 300 on the day to up 600 on the day. So kind of wasn't all at once, but sort of slow series of like 4 or 5 trades. And the nice thing there was I think it was 1, 2, 3 winners and 1 loser on WHLR. So I was like, all right, you know what? Accuracy getting a little better, making my way up a little bit, but not really getting myself into a big position of like in the driver's seat. And then at the open, GLMD, I did not expect this. As we came into the open, I was like, is there anything that I like? What's obvious right now? And I said, honestly, I don't think there's much to trade. And I think the fact that I'm only up $600 coming into the open is as much of a sign as I need that I shouldn't push it today. I should go slow. In fact, maybe I should just walk away right here at 925, because the fact is, if this was going to be a great day, I'd already be above my daily goal of $5,000. That's just the reality, and that's clearly not happened. So maybe this is the type of day that if I keep pushing it, I'm going to take a big loss at the open and then feel like I don't have time to recover and regret that I didn't, call it quit sooner. So I started thinking maybe I should just walk. And I was really surprised when GLMD ripped at the open and squeezes right up to the volume weighted average price. It was so strong. So it squeezes at the open right here up to about 640. Then it pulls back for a second, goes to 660, 670, halts up 708. Then it dips down, dip and a rip up to 740, squeezes up to 760, pulls back, goes up to 8, pulls back, goes up to 830, 840, all the way up to 880. Pretty impressive. Now, my best exit on this was $8.57. Not bad. So basically, the way I approached it was, at a certain point, I said, I'm just going to break the ice and trade 1,500 share blocks. I'm just going to trade small size, jump in, jump out. And so I started doing that, got in at $7. And the reason I got in at 7 right down here was I felt like there was some support down in this area. So got in at 7, we got that nice curl back up. Then we popped up to this level, we pulled back. I got another dip trade on this in at 720, and then I got another one at 820, and then I got another one where I added 840 for the break of 850 and took my profit 857. And even right now, it's coming back up a little bit, but I am a little concerned about overstaying my welcome, because the fact is, I'm not up a lot. But at the end of the day, $2,000 is good. It's green, and I'm trying to maintain a track record of being consistent. And it's disappointing when I look at my calendar and I see, these slightly bigger red days. I'm glad that they're relatively few and far between, but this last one was disappointing for me, and I tried to recover it and And anyways, so that is what it is. But yeah, so yesterday was a 3,000. Oh, I got to take away. Let's see. So this is in. I'm going to do just my IRA account here, and then that'll take away my trade and thinkorswim. So yeah, so this has been the last 5 days: 9,900, 6,000, 11,000, 2,000, 3,000. Today's again 2,000. So the last 3 days have been slower. Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. All right. So right now things are a little slow, but when I look at sort of the big picture is over the last 30 days. Right now, my account is at all-time highs. I just made a new high, right? By being up $2,000 today and by closing at my high of day. So just kind of grinding on these smaller numbers until the market sets up and gives me another nice move. Now, what I just have to be careful of is not having another big red day. I think that this red day, you could sort of see, it's kind of funny when you've got like all this consistency and then like a red day. It's like, what did I do wrong on that day? And what I did wrong was I pushed my luck. I was too aggressive. And this was a day where it was not a failure in the strategy. It was a failure in my emotions and how I managed my trading. So that was avoidable. But what's happened now is, okay, so I ended up having like $10,000 days right before and after that loss. So I made up for it quickly. But now these last couple of days, things have slowed down. So sometimes things will sort of slow down like this, and then I'm waiting for that, boom, next big green day. So that could be tomorrow. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it won't be for a couple more days. Maybe it won't be for till next week. But I just have to sit here, show up every single day, and just chip away on these small green days until we get that, next kind of really nice squeeze. And, as I was looking at the market yesterday afternoon, of course, I saw TNON still selling off, had a little bit of a flat bottom here. I was almost wondering if this was going to hold this area, but I was like, I'm not taking a trade on that. We had a couple others yesterday that popped up, and then JBDI, this one, total liquidation yesterday, just from 40 all the way down to $1.78. Just got pummeled, totally destroyed. Kind of that classic, I don't think it's a Chinese. I think it's from Singapore, but same kind of liquidation effect where they just dumped shares and just sold. So anyways, that was gross. So that was yesterday. I think that kind of weighed on momentum a little bit. We did have VEA today that halted up a couple times, has made sort of a big move. The problem is the liquidity is just not there. So it's got 100,000 shares of volume so far today. So it's, it's just not what do you do with that? You can't get in, you can't get out. It's just not really easy to trade. So anyways, I kind of think of that as the illusion of momentum, because it's looks like, whoa, look at that big move. But realistically, this is the 10-second chart. How many shares could you have bought and sold? So yeah, not much you could do with that. A couple of penny stocks, SMSI, but that one I said not appropriate for the small account. I wouldn't be trading the front side of the move. It's a little bit, just not quite right. And SNOA was disappointing, that FDA news, and then it's actually down like 10% today. So I don't know, just kind of weird. Overall market, S&P 500. Look, we're at pretty much all-time highs right now. The market is hanging out up here, but we've got some economic data that's going to come out this week. And so, some traders are kind of anxiously awaiting what's going to happen there. And of course, we've got, we're coming into, just 2 months, till the election. So it's like all of a sudden, this is like really, things are getting serious here, and we're going to have probably a lot of volatility in these next 6-8 weeks through the rest of the year, depending on everything that happens. So yeah, definitely time to buckle up. But on a day like today, when it feels a little slow, there's no reason to over leverage and take a lot of risk. It's better just to be patient and live to trade another day. So I'm locking it up here in the green. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Those of you guys who haven't already subscribed to the channel, I hope you hit that subscribe button. I hope you hit the thumbs up. I'll put a link in the description for a 2-week trial here at Warrior Trading. So if you guys want to check that out, you could watch over my shoulder for the next 2 weeks, see what it's like to be a member of the community. And if you haven't already checked out the Think or Swim Small Account Challenge, make sure you check that out. I'll put a link to my latest upload here at the end of this recap. So I hope you check that out, and I'll have another episode uploading later today for day 4. All right, that's it for me. Thanks as always for tuning in. I'll see you guys back at it first thing tomorrow morning. I'll remind you, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so manage your risk and take it slow.